Okay, so I'm pretty sure some of y'all know about I Hate You, the PC version of it. And the moment I tried it, like gave it a shot and then mess around with it, and it turns out, yeah, this is basically you spaced out the code I wrote over 10 years ago as of 2024. So to give you some example, so here on this screen, this is the code I originally wrote, the library I originally made. To give you an example, this is the player's initializing variables and a whole bunch of other stuff, states, and etc. And if you want to go here, as you can see right here, they're pretty much the same. Maybe like some change values. No, it doesn't seem like it. It's pretty standard. And I believe it's the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. With all the commenting being removed, or maybe it's my older version. Either way, my code is pretty bad 10 years ago. Anyways, so yeah, these two are definitely not. So this is definitely what I made, but these two aren't what I made. They probably add on to it, but they didn't even use coding, but instead they used those drag and drop events on GameMaker. But honestly, if I wanna be frank, if you're still using like this version or like GameMaker Studio 1.4, I would recommend to go with coding since you got more flexibility and stuff and such. Especially like when things gets big, when you got so many drag and drop, you can easily mess up by accidentally drag and drop certain items you don't intend to do so if you're trying to scroll. Yeah, it's good for like a beginner to get a gist of how things work, but for getting like in a larger project, I don't recommend it. So, but yeah, this is if anybody's curious about how I got a hold of this, somebody named Mac um sent me this. He decompiled the I Hate You EXE PC version and sent it to me. And the thing I didn't notice is that the decompiler doesn't register any of the folders that are on there, so it looks much more different, but still like a lot of instances were pretty much there. There's some few deleted stuff from it. For example, yeah, Yoshi's not here. I think it's not here. Yeah, that's or it's not being implemented since it does looks like an older version of the code I released like back in 2011. And physics for a platform which is not really well written. And I see how this is an interesting development. So they replaced the shell with a key. And supposedly, when the player, let's see, where is it? Model start 2, I think it's a sunken gold ship. This is the key you're supposed to pick up, but entirely, what they did is that they only put swim right here. So let's see if I can unlock it. Change position. No, it's locked. All right, change position. Let me go to Y64. Yeah, you can see that pretty much. Yeah, this is just a bunch of like swimming layers that's being implemented in there. So nothing is above, it's just cubes of swimming layers for player to swim. So if I do run it, if you do run I Hate You PC version, let me try to execute it from this point and just kind of demonstrate. So if you hold up while swimming, You can do that because the layer's not there. And for multiplayers, they don't actually use like they don't use utilize up and down. Let me go back. But yeah, that's how the swimming fixes were implemented in the first room. And if I want to remove this, let me just go ahead and just remove it. So this is called blind boot. This is something they added onto it. Interesting. It looks like some sort of like an existing object. They just copy the code over. But then I see, yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, let's keep on going. So there's few things I can also look over. Please excuse me, I'm not really good on presentations, even though I work in the industry on coding and such. Okay, so I can see there's few other places to go over. Like this one is pretty much just an empty long hallways with few stuff. Put it there as decorations. Yeah, so they're mostly just stationary object. Yeah, with few of that. And I see this one. Yeah, in addition to that, so what else is interesting is that they were using multiple objects instead of using a single object to handle the cutscenes. They pretty much just simply put like codes like this and then putting some drag and drop all mixed together and does something else. And some are just plain empty objects. In addition to that, if you go somewhere, let's see. So all of these are my existing asset that came with the game, which from this version, it's pretty much like organized this way. And on here, it's much harder to tell when you're on something like on this because yeah, there's no directory for me to even determine where it is exactly. So anyways, I think from starting from this point, it's all like custom made assets for I Hate You.EXE. And there's some interesting find. I did notice that this one has used 200 frames for same exact sprite. I'm not sure if this is an artifact from the decompiler or it's intentional or not. This one seems to be normal. Same for that. In a lot of cases, there's sprites laying on top of it. And some blank objects. I think it might be, and for some reason, there's Ouija. I do kind of find this a little bit amusing though. And yeah, more unused assets or just sitting there not doing anything. But yeah, and sometimes you get okay. So this one's not even animated. Yeah, it's just the same background that's being repeated for 227 frames. And same for this. It's basically Luigi walking, but it's repeatedly being used for 200 frames. Once again, I am not sure if it's an artifact or it's intentional or not. But the only difference I notice is that he looks angry in this sprite, which is, I think it's only like maybe 3 pixels of difference to add on to it. So I'm not sure if I even added Luigi to the original game. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, pretty much all of that. And this one is all an animation instead of like being coded onto it, which from a developer standpoint, this is not really efficient. You see, it's using like 840 kilobyte to like to save all that. I think it's yeah, it's better idea. Like I'm just only showcasing this, maybe educational purpose. I don't know. It's just a video I'm just making right now. But yeah, if you're like a developer, I would recommend you to code it instead of just like animate it. Not only that, like even if like for example, if you have like a game that has higher frame rate, this putting this in there with a lower, it has definitely has lower frame rate, which will feel pretty jarring. Okay, this one seems normal. Okay, so basically it just repeats the same frames a whole bunch of times and then sinks into lava. It's not like repeat these, have a cycle that ends, and then just go straight to that. No, it's all like just frame on frame. So if I can go down on it, which yeah, I'm not a fan of the older Game Maker, which you have to manually look it up where's that resource being used. Has to be here somewhere, right? Okay, here it is. So all it does is that it's okay, so the sprite has already been set as that, but they tried to set the sprite again and then they made a typo. They made a typo on image speed. But anyways, once that's finished animating, it changed to object 210, and this one does absolutely nothing. Yeah, it looks like this one as well. I do like recall like a couple of instances where people saying that the I Hate You EXE version has like pretty good physics or something. Honestly, I don't think it's really good with the way I wrote this physics because this is something I wrote 10 years ago, and a lot of times, um, let me go ahead and just kind of show as an example. It's not really well made. At this point, I felt it's more of a spaghetti coder. So I don't know. I felt like I don't think I'm a good programmer. I just do it for fun. That's the reason why I made these in the past. Okay, let's jump to the jump scare, no pun intended, but Okay, so these are I don't know, I don't find those scary to me anymore. I do find that it's kind of funny. And they even have that little thing, right? I think it's one of the objects right here that triggers it. There we go, Screamer Mushroom. It stops jump scare, and then when it touches the player, it transfers to object jump scare, which is, I guess, is a typo. Interesting. They have two instances of jump scare. So it's pretty much the same two exact object, with the difference is that the second one ends the game, but the first one restart the current room, which a room is pretty much the section of the level, so it should be around here somewhere. Yeah, like over here. So you get in contact with that, it puts you back over here. And on this one, which is kind of interesting, I'm not sure what exactly this blue pixelated stuff here is for. And if you go a little beyond, there's a Ouija, object 174, which I'm not too sure what's it for. It's just a decoration. It does absolutely nothing. Okay, so basically, I think this is where the battle is. I haven't actually fully played through the game, if I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, it seems like it's all a bunch of like action events, and then it goes to that final room to the end. Okay, so there's that image. It's interesting that they just use it as a sprite. Well, at that time, it's better off to use like larger image as a background, but in GameMaker 2 or anything newer, they don't use background anymore, so I don't really mind for that. Yeah, once it ends, it transforms into jump scare, which is that, and it ends the game. From the jump to like game settings, okay, authors Luigi version 66, 6. Okay, I think that's kind of what I went through the gist of I Hate You EXE PC version, whichever it is called. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting find, and I'm just making this video to kind of like showcasing like things from behind the scene. Still a big props, big shout out to Mac. They helped me to like decompile this and send it to me. I'm not sure how to do that, honestly. I'm just some random dude who does absolutely nothing in his life, nothing really interesting. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. You have a nice day.